Good day everyone. So do you want to do infinite biking with Mavuika? Well, basically there's this new spot in Genshin's 5.5 map, or the new overworld map, that you can do it. And you get effectively infinite phlogiston. Now I don't know if this works if you have completed the story, but I got here through another path. And that's actually what today's video is all about. The adventures of me, Kokomi, and my wonderful Chaska. I love Chaska so much because you can infinitely fly, but this is the story of our adventure. And indeed, new ancient dragon city, lore, mountain thingamaplace, this beautiful area like here, there was just so much for me to discover. And the first thing I did was just like kind of jump off the map, because why not? And when I did that, I discovered that just like the 4.8 summertime event, you just bounce back very, very graciously. And then I thought, well, okay, that big crack there in the sky in the background, which you'll see in just a moment, I want to go and explore that. So how do I get to the big crack? Well, you can't, because there is a barrier in the way, and if there's a barrier in the way, then well, you're kind of stopped. So you can't even get to the Paimon barrier. There's just like an invisible barrier all around. So the next thing that I thought, well, was I'm going to take the plunge here with Kokomi, and then effectively once I get to that little barrier or the little clouds, I'm just going to turn off the internet very quickly. And once you do that, you can actually fall through. So the game's not going to trigger the like effect to go back up. And then I discovered there's a second layer underneath this whole place, presumably the next area if you play legitimately. And then I decided to switch to Chaska and reactivate my internet, because hey, you know, I kind of bypassed the barrier, and basically, nope, psych, I didn't. And the game is just now going to take me back all the way. Oh wait, it's not, it's yeah, it kind of killed my entire party, which was very surprising. I've never seen this behavior in Genshin Impact, so there must be some kind of death barrier or something happening. And I kind of tried this a couple of times, and every time it's just going to kick me back, and I'm going to either explode or something weird's going to happen, and my entire party is going to die. So then I had a bit of a thought. Well, okay, you've got this barrier around the place, and you've got the fog. So clearly, the fog shouldn't logically need to like go beyond the barrier, because you're not supposed to be behind the barrier. And then I thought, hey, maybe if I go to the edge of the barrier and I just wait carefully, so just at the right moment disconnect my internet and then try and go forward with Chaska, I might just skip that whole cloud thing, or the place, or like how it catches you out. And well, it kind of worked. This is a very cool way of bypassing the dev's barrier, and when you try and go back in, you're not going to get teleported back up because you're below the trigger point of the map. And that was really, or like the clouds, and that was like really, really cool. It allowed me to explore the entire second area, and then also out of bounds, because I'm now properly out of bounds, see a new kind of place right there at the bottom. Typically this signifies like the end of a world quest if we go by Fontaine and other Natland standards. And because I've got infinite flying with Mavuika and Chaska, thank you Genshin devs, I just discovered this place, and I was like, ooh, this looks really, really awesome. Clearly some parts are not loaded in yet, but we'll slowly make our way down. And as I got down, I discovered, well, okay, there's a massive giant invisible cube around the place. And then I could do another bit of infinite biking here with Mavuika. You know that little song, dun, 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 dun. It's just like, it was just playing in my head like while I was doing this. It was just super funny. Sorry, I was laughing my ass off at Mavuika doing this. But basically it's because we're at the top of this place and you're not supposed to be able to go through it. However, if you kind of just experiment and see like how the place works, you'll find that it's actually pretty difficult to get in there. Mavuika started bouncing around like really, really crazy. So I was like, yeah, maybe this is, I hope I'm not going to break the game or anything or get my account banned, because this is not supposed to happen. Clearly we're stuck on some sort of invisible wall. You're not supposed to get to the area, but as luck would have it, there is a way, some sort of method to get to this area legitimately, because the Hoyo devs didn't properly seal it up all the way around. So that kind of happened. And then when I actually got to this area, I decided, well, I don't want to mess with the story progression and activate the teleport, and it might have some other unintended effects. So I'm just going to put a temporary waypoint here, and I noticed my phlogiston bar was permanently full. And that means that, well, you've got infinite Natland skills in this area, so you can just do crazy things with Mavuika. You can't really do this in the overworld because you'll just run out of phlogiston and all these good things. But now you can do infinite little biking with Mavuika, you can drive infinitely, And my favorite part is you can do infinite little wheelies as well, which is really cool. For the other characters, Mulan can infinite surf, Shannon can infinite skate, Reza can infinite run, etc. It really is a lovely place. I don't know if the infinite phlogiston goes away once you complete the story quest, so you can let me know as a spoiler down below. But regardless, once I've had my fun, I was like, well, okay, maybe we should try and see what is like beneath the map. So this was the next step that I wanted to take. And to go below the map, you just need to go slightly out of bounds, and then you'll find that there's like a surface, and then kind of the surface ends, and then you'll be able to then just fall down. Now, typically what happens in Genshin is when you fall down below the map, there's a teleport barrier. You're going to teleport then to the last place that you stood. So I would have expected to teleport then back to the surface here. So I just took the plunge into the infinite darkness below me. And then I found that no, there is no infinite darkness. There's an actual infinite plane underneath the entirety of this new playable area, which was a first for me in Genshin Impact. You wouldn't expect it to be this giant like plane where you just can walk. So I did the logical thing. I kind of traversed throughout the whole map, and I put a special marker right there in the corner, because earlier when I went out of bounds, I kind of saw, I just kind of wanted to see, can you go beyond the Paimon barrier? How does the edge of the map look like? And lo and behold, I was like, okay, let's see how far this infinite plane at the bottom really stretches. And funnily enough, right at this edge, which is like really far out, it actually does end. So you can see me putting like a kind of like a waypoint or a marker, and then I decided, well, hey, if I fall, I should be put back on the infinite plane, because Hoya registers the last place your character stood, and hey, it is actually the last place we stood. So I updated my waypoint, so that is kind of where the map below or the floor ends, and then you can fall and then just respawn. But that's pretty cool. So underneath the entirety of the multi-layered map, there is like just this infinite area, which is cool. Regardless, what I then did next was go to the second plane. As you can see, my mini map doesn't really work that well because I haven't done things in the right order, but I mean, Oya will forgive me. And basically, there was this barrier that I saw. After breaking through the barrier, using certain means, I was like, okay, let's explore again the areas that the devs don't want me to see, and maybe we can answer the question of the crack in the sky. But whilst I was doing that, suddenly the sky actually changed to be completely dark. And this was weird, because what I'd noticed is that regardless of the time of day, the lighting of the sun and stuff is set, so you can't really change that. But the moment you go back into the area with like the playable bounds, suddenly the sky and scenery change. It's almost like there are like two different spheres, and if you go too far out, then the one just deactivates. And by the way, this actually then answers the question of the little cracks in the sky. If you look at it, basically once you go beyond the second sphere, that crack in the sky just disappears. It's just an optical illusion that they've put there. There's no real structure. But regardless, I had a bit of fun taking pictures of this place during night. You're not supposed to take pictures like this, and now you can also understand why the devs put this massive barrier around the top and the bottom part of the map, because they don't want you to kind of break the illusion of what they've created. But effectively, it's just a normal Genshin Impact game scene, and then within it there is a sphere around it that allows for special lighting and effects. It is actually pretty neat, but what I like about it is the fact that I can take much more like cooler pictures. I can do some fun things out of bounds, get views, perhaps take like pictures with the scene and the lighting change. It's just all that good. Look at that. And now you can see there's the crack in the sky again. And if you try and go to it, it's just going to disappear once you get too close. And then eventually you hit the Paimon barrier, and then Paimon just tells you to, hey, you must come back. Unfortunately, since you guys, well, if you've been following my channel, you guys know that I love breaking the Paimon barrier. There is unfortunately no way yet to do it on this special part of the map, and I don't think there would be any benefit to doing so, because there is genuinely nothing beyond like the playable area. But just to show you here, if you go too far out, this crack in the sky disappears, the scene changes to the normal Genshin sun, and then you can go back in. But what's cool about this is now you can get different views and pictures, and it's just, this is the type of thing that I love, is just being able to do things in an unintended order. And the reason I do it like this is because I find that despite Genshin being a very open world game that's supposed to allow you a lot of exploration, it kind of falls prey to what a lot of open worlds fall into, and that is that they still have to give you some sort of linear structure. And I just felt that this place was reeking of, you must solve this puzzle, go to this place, then go to that place, and do it in the order that we the devs want you to have fun with. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna be a bit sacrilegious and just explore the place. And I can't help it that you power crept all the characters by allowing infinite flying in a region like Natlan. Actually, I'm very glad for it because it just made it so much more fun to explore. And that's kind of my point. I just want to have fun. I made a previous video where I said that I think Genshin Impact is not changing up their formula enough. So whilst I think they've perfected the, like, I'm going to give you a new region, you're going to do some quest, and while they've perfected the current formula and it's not too bad, I think I want a bit more out of Genshin Impact. Imagine they gave you like an airship or something, and you can like go around this place as like a final quest, and you battle something and you can break the land. It's just, there's so many ways you can really enhance the open world experience, and I felt that the devs still haven't gotten to that point yet. So I'm just gonna have and enjoy and make my own fun of it. I've got 2 accounts. I typically would always just play out the quest, but in this case I decided, well, I'm gonna be a bit sacrilegious and just do whatever I want, and it's been fun. I've really like enjoyed this. This to me, and I'm gonna say it out loud, is much more fun than Wuthering Waves, because in that game as well, it's just the usual gacha. You have to start at, you know, the beginning. Everyone's now at the same level. All the account progression you've made the last 5 years in Genshin doesn't matter. And it's like, well, I really don't have the energy to go through all of that again. I just want to have what I have and enjoy it the most that I can. And the onus is on Genshin that if they expect me to get characters or spend on characters, they've really got to up the experience beyond just selling you a character. They've got to sell you the experience. Otherwise, I'm going to create my own experience and then just do it my own way without supporting the game. So there is that. Regardless, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Cheers.